this is Maddie and
Dillon
with Catch What I'm Saying podcast, episode number 2. And happy Easter.
Yes, happy Easter, everybody. We very much appreciate it. We wanted to start off with this Easter podcast with a quick prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you for everything. Thank you for what you've given us and bless us, Lord. We just thank you for this weekend and starting off on Good Friday. Lord, we know that was the day that you paid the ultimate price for us on the cross so that our sins were forgiven. But as all nights turned to days, you were raised up on Sunday, and it was an amazing story, Lord, to show how much you loved and cared for us and the strength you had over death. We just speak it, we believe, we thankfully help us not to ever forget that. And it's in your holy name, Son's holy name, Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
Amen. And the devotion for today, April 5th, is The Word is Alive. The Word of God is alive and powerful. It is sharper than the sharpest two-edged sword, cutting between soul and spirit, between joint and marrow. It exposes our innermost thoughts and desires. Hebrews 4:12. All right, so on this episode of our podcast, earlier this week, Dillon and I were talking, and we realized just how opposite we are.
Yes, very much so.
Not just personality, but with how we were raised, with siblings, parents, and so it'd be fun to kind of go over all of that, and that's why our title for this podcast is called Siblings, Parents, Oh My, Does Opposites Truly Attract?
Yes.
I think yes in our case, because we're very different.
Very different, a lot of different ways.
So, do you want to talk about siblings first?
Yes.
All right, so how many siblings do you have?
So, I grew up with one sibling. I was the youngest brother. But after my stepmom, after my dad married my stepmom, I got 3 more siblings. But that was after when I was like 25. So it was a lot later in life.
So you grew up with one brother.
I grew up with one single brother, and I was the youngest. He was the oldest.
Yes. Do you want to know how many I had?
You had at least, 4?
Grew up, I technically grew up with 5 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
My parents had 4 kids together. I'm the oldest of the original 4, the core 4. But I grew up with a stepsister named Jaden. And then also I have 2 other stepbrothers named Zach and Chaz. Didn't quite grow up with them, but they're definitely my stepbrothers nonetheless. And then when we're 20 years apart, so I don't know, 21, I think.
Yeah, I think 21.
Dad, correct me if I'm wrong. But my stepmom welcomed my baby brother into the world. And so altogether, my grand total of siblings is 7.
Dang.
So that was the first opposite. The second opposite was I was the oldest.
And I was the youngest.
And you were the youngest.
Yeah.
So how was that having an older sibling?
Well, luckily, me and my brother Ian, we were only 2.5 years apart. And I was at least blessed. From what I've heard, many siblings bicker and fight like cats and dogs.
No, just ask my sister. We were best friends growing up.
I mean,
I just made her sleep in the crack of the bed in the wall because we shared a room, and so I had the big bed and she had the little itty-bitty space between the mattress and the wall. But we grew up, we weren't competitive at all.
well, with me and Ian, he decided when I was born that I was going to be his best friend. So
That
instead
must have
of
been nice.
yes, but instead of fighting, we realized who could annoy each other the most.
Mm-hmm.
A good portion of the time, I won that competition.
Clearly. That's
But
just a given.
Yeah, but in real retrospect, it was... I mean, my dad always says one of the best blessings is that he had 2 sons that almost never fought. So that was how I kind of grew up, having a best friend already instilled, which is great.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same. No, I loved growing up with Kylie, Noah, Jonah, We were the original core. Um, I mean, it was always really nice to have someone to hang out with, talk with. I just wasn't as nice as Ian. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna lie, because as we know from the first episode, I'm not a liar. So, I was not the nice older sibling. I will be the first to say it because when my siblings join the podcast, they will also be saying what it was like growing up with me. No, I'd say my friendship with each of my siblings, Kylie, Noah, and Jonah, kind of developed later on, which now I view each one of them one of my dearest friends. We're all kind of doing our own life. My brother Noah is married to a beautiful woman named Hannah, and they have a beautiful baby boy together. My sister is married to an amazing man, Marcus, and they have 2 boys together. And Jonah, he's off doing his thing. He's killing it at work. He loves taking care of his animals, and what once was a burden, being the oldest child, has truly just been such a rewarding gift now, seeing each of them just grow. Jaden, my sister, she was valedictorian. She's one of the smartest people you'll ever meet. She is doing so well in her zoology. She wants to be a zookeeper. She knows every animal, how to take care of them. Absolutely amazing. And then David, though we're not growing up together, from the massive age difference, it's such a redemption story for me to... They live in Maryland, and we're obviously in Texas, but a huge redemption story for me, because I wasn't the best big sister that I could have been the first batch. But the second round, shout out Dad and Susanna, they blessed me with another chance of being that big sister. And so that's just truly such a gift where I can watch David grow up and I can be his biggest cheerleader. And now I'm cheering on all of my siblings, even if it's from afar. They're just doing so great, and I'm just so proud of them.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. I could talk about them forever.
Yeah.
We only have 30 minutes. So.
Yeah. I wish I could talk more about me and Ian. Right now, we're both doing our own thing, and I'm just praying for him, and I hope one day we're able to come back together and share what's been going on with each other. So
y'all will.
Yeah.
You guys will. It's just a bumpy road, and God's seen it already, and He's going to redeem y'all's stories, and y'all are going to come back together, and God's timing, right?
Yep.
God's
it's not
timing.
ours, it's God's timing. Because if it's ours, it all falls to pieces.
Yeah. Okay, so I got kind of a bunch of my siblings periodically in my childhood. I can talk about, Zach and Chaz and Jaden. Got them almost right away. I've always had Kylie, Noah, and Jonah throughout my entire life. And then David, he came when I was 21, so a little bit later on. But I just always had siblings. Your story is a little bit different because you've always had Ian. You're the youngest. So
Yeah.
you don't know a life without Ian, at least.
Yeah.
But then you ended up having 3 more siblings, not until you were 25.
Yeah. So what had happened with that is when I was probably around, I think, 22, my mom had passed away. Shout out to her, love her. But it was kind of tough on us, me, Ian, and my dad. It was not easy. And through that time, me and Ian were still serving in the military, and my dad was doing his best. And when I went to Saudi Arabia years ago, my dad went to a little singles get together at church, is where he met my stepmom, Lori. And they got really close and started dating.
Fun fact, I knew Lori before Greg knew Lori.
Yeah, that was also very cool. And I remember Ian actually calling me and telling me that. Dad didn't even tell me that first. Ian did. And I talked to Dad, and I thought it was so sweet of Dad because he was like, I know it's only been like a few years, but I was still worried if you guys were going to be, like, mad if I start dating. And when he said that, I was like, no, Dad, Go live your life.
He's still being dad, but
Yeah.
you and Ian are like, we're grown. We understand. Live your life.
Like we understand what
Yeah.
went through with mom. We also understand you've been grieving, and we also understand it's hard to be alone, and we want you to be happy. And he was very thankful, and we're very thankful we support that because when I got back, Ian got to know Lori beforehand, but when I got back, I actually got to meet her. She was amazing, and she is even now an amazing stepmom.
She was another mother to me before she became your
I
stepmom.
know.
We'll get into that on another podcast because God's just
tying
so
everything
good,
together.
and He just ties everything together when we let Him.
Yeah. So with her, she brought 2 sons and a daughter. So it was Jordan, Reed, and Morgan.
So you finally got your sister.
Yeah, finally got my sister.
25, finally got your sister.
Yeah. So sadly, 2 of them live out of state, so I don't have much stories. With Jordan, and one of them is now one of my other siblings is in heaven. Jordan, he I would probably say the fun stories of just probably talking about Star Wars and his youngest that he finally got to have.
What a blessing.
I guess his only would be more accurate, but Idris, and Idris so cute.
He is.
And he has told all the stories of how Idris just runs, just goes.
That's what they do.
Yep. And then Morgan, she has talked about her cats a lot. She loves her cats and likes living in Oklahoma. And Reed, shout out to Reed, I miss him. A few years ago, he was called to heaven, but we had some great memories and stories. And one of my favorite stories of me and him, it was one of the last times we actually were playing paintball. And there was this...
Are you talking about the chicken?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
there was
the
this
chicken.
Massive black chicken.
I'm so glad I was there.
That was just walking around the paintball field. This thing was just cruising, doing its thing. And me, Dad, and Ian are talking. And then Reed just walks up carrying this thing.
Picks up the chicken.
And it's just like, hey guys. And this chicken doesn't care. This chicken's just like, I'm good with this. And we're like, Reed, why do you have the chicken? And he's like, I don't know. Just let me pick him up. And I'm like, why? It's like, because I wanted to. It's like, okay.
It's one of my favorite stories of him too.
Yeah, it was. We were not expecting that. This chicken didn't care to be picked up. It wasn't the first time, but it was hilarious to say the least.
Yeah.
So, but my other 3 siblings came later in life when I was already adult. So that was very different from what you had.
More or less, yeah, pretty different than what I had. I got to experience always having that person, sometimes several of those people. I wonder if there was more confrontation and fighting with me growing up with my siblings because there was so many of them compared to it was just you and Ian. You guys didn't need to fight for attention.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because Ian would give you attention, you'd give Ian attention. You had 2 parents that would also give each of you attention. Whereas when I grew up, I had Zach, Chaz, Kylie, Noah, Jonah, Jaden, just constantly, wanting to feel some sort of attention. But it wasn't all fights. It was fun. We all got really close, and, especially because the other difference, moving into a different difference kind of, is I had parents that got divorced.
Yeah.
So
I had parents that stayed together at least till
yeah.
death do us part.
So my parents got divorced, and I'll say something that I took for granted a lot back then, which now I try to teach my 3 because they too have split households. Is the 4 of us are the only 4 that know the in and outs. When we went to mom's, we all went to mom's. When we went to dad's, we all went to dad's. We were the unit that got to go back and forth together and experience dad's house, experience mom's house. And so I wish back then, I could have nurtured that more. I try to tell my boys when they have hard moments, just love on each other. Be each other's best friends, because when you get older, you'll realize just how much you needed your sibling. And especially me and my sister. My sister, growing up, wanted to be my best friend growing up. And I would kind of cast her aside. And now, at 30 years old, my sister's my best friend. I may not be hers yet, but she is definitely my best friend, and I can appreciate who she is in my life. And I see Noah and Jonah do the same thing. Um, so yeah, I think that's another difference. Is I think maybe that's why you guys didn't fight as much, because there was nothing to really fight about. Okay, before we completely dive deep in on parents, we cannot move along the sibling portion without talking about the in-laws.
Yep.
These in-laws are God's saving grace to our siblings.
Yes. And sometimes major headaches at the same time.
Oh, well, that might be on your side.
Thanks.
No, but I just want to talk about and give the respect that's due to the people that have decided to marry my siblings. Because I've grown up with them, so I know what they are going through. No, all kidding aside, I want to talk about Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus is my brother-in-law, and he is married to my younger sister. Dude, this man.
He's a great man.
He is, but it makes me emotional because it's kind of like if I could pick someone to marry my sister, I wouldn't pick anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
He is such a devoted father
And
husband. He is a strong, faithful man of the church.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him just Saturday, actually. We were doing a glow party for Mission Church in Little Elm, and my two nephews, oh my gosh, those boys have my heart. But this glow party, and they're 9 and 3, and they were on stage, and they were dancing their hearts out, and Marcus was busy doing his thing, trying to help, but I saw him in the corner of my eye, split second, he comes out, and he watches his boys on stage, and he has the biggest smile on his face. And I mean, those boys are truly lucky to have that leadership.
He loves being a dad.
He loves it. And I don't want to go into his story too much, but he grew up in a way where it would make sense. And he had every reason in the book to not be the best parent. That's what I'll say. And instead, he ran the race well, and he's running the race well, and he is being the opposite, and he is devoted and loving and caring for both his boys and my sister. And so I also want to talk about Hannah, who is married to my brother, and God bless her soul. No, I'm just kidding, Noah. No, she is an amazing, again, godly woman. And just a couple years ago, she brought my beautiful nephew into this world, and I will forever be thankful for that woman for doing that. And they're just living their best life, and I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the leadership that my brother has taken to be the man of God, and they just recently moved their family to Illinois, where her family lives, and they're just doing great. So I just also love how much I love my in-laws, and my in-laws love me and my family. Marcus has been helping me raise my boys since he's gotten into the picture with my sister. And he doesn't have to do that.
Nope.
You know, he doesn't. That takes a strong man that genuinely just wants to be a good uncle.
Oh, yeah.
And then their Auntie Hannah, she always comes with the cutest little gifts, the biggest, brightest smile, and she taught my kids were very picky eaters. Very picky eaters when they were younger. And Andrew that's one of our son's names, was fighting with me about eating. And every mom has been here where you just get to the point of, I don't want to fight this anymore. Just eat.
Hilariously enough, now he will eat us out
Oh,
of house.
yes, now he's...
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But back then, and Auntie Hannah came up and said, why don't you take a no thank you bite? And I was like, what is a no thank you bite? And she goes, well, how do you know you don't like it if you don't take a no thank you bite? Take the first bite and then see if you like it. If you don't like it, no thank you. And she got Andrew to eat his whole food. The plate was gone. He did not say no thank you after the first bite. He said he wanted more. And so I understand how fortunate I am to have that, because there's a lot of people with in-laws, and when they get married, it's kind of just like, I'm married to you, not your family, and I don't want anything to do with your family.
Yeah.
And so before we complete the sibling part, I just think that they deserved a little shout out, because they are amazing. Also, I do understand that your brother is my in-law.
Yep.
And I am thankful for who he is in my life. I know we're going through it a little bit, which will be another episode.
Yep.
But that's okay. Families go through things. I mean, it's never going to be perfect, but that doesn't take away the fact that he was a strong role model, manly role model that helped me trust men, and he had a role in you and I meeting. And so at the very least, I am thankful for him that he was a huge part in bringing me to my husband.
Yes. And for me on my side...
Oh, you love my siblings. You love every single one of them. You're a blessed man.
Yeah. No, let's start...
You had one sibling, now you got 20.
Let's start with how everything went with your siblings. First, it was a little bit rocky.
Oh, well, if you looked at my dating history, can you really blame them?
Yeah. So I walked in this new man out of the blue, and they were very skeptical, which was fair. But I just came in and was going to be myself. So, rolling up, one of the first times I actually got to meet most of them was at the dojo. And I actually helped Noah with some of the classes, which he seemed very appreciative, and I at least got on his good side a little bit. Kylie and Marcus... Nope, they did not like me in the beginning. They did not know who I was. Jonah was the exact same way.
Well,
so
do you blame them knowing my history
no,
now?
not at all. The first family event I was invited to, I could feel the tension of me being there, and they did not want me there because they did not know who I was, which was fair, but you could cut it with a knife. It was that. I was like, holy crap, I feel like I'm swimming in butter here. Ooh.
Yeah, they didn't let you off easy.
No.
They were like, another one. Who is this guy?
Yes. But luckily, I think what worked out best is that...
You were yourself.
Yeah, and I didn't care. I was like, look, I already knew I was going to come into a tough situation, and I was going to be me. And one of the first things I did was actually, I think, with both of your brothers, was at your sister's wedding. And I was just cool and chill, and they were like, okay, this dude seems okay.
My sister's wedding was probably definitely
the starting
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Hilariously enough, I think I got Noah about 12 beers that night, and he thought that was great. I got Jonah probably 8, and Jonah was starting to warm up to me a little bit. Hilarious on that night when we all went home, I fell asleep at the dojo. Hilariously, Jonah was also at the dojo too, but in a different room. So
the night of my sister's wedding, you slept with my brother.
Yes. In the sense of 2 separate rooms, but still.
You slept with my brother before you slept with me.
It's funny to say.
It's funny to say. Yeah. In the moment, maybe not so much. When my brother woke up and was like, "What are you doing here?"
And then I was like, "Oh, Shihan told me I could stay here since it was so late." And it was like 2 a.m.
Yeah,
so.
you were helping me with the boys.
It was about 40 minutes away from home, so it was like they'd rather not me drive that late after a wedding and everything.
And you weren't going to sleep with me,
No.
so you slept with my brother.
That was not intentional. We were not in the same bed. Still so weird to say, but it's a funny memory. And I also think that was the first time too that your side of the family actually got to see me in a good light because I was with you, I was loving you, I was taking care of you.
You had to climb some mountains, then they put you through it, but
Yeah.
you know, they love me, and more importantly, they love Kaino, Andrew, and Jason.
Yeah.
So you want to get close to me, you're getting close to the boys, and so they were doing their due diligence, which may be annoying at the time.
No, I understood. I understood completely. Luckily, though, by your sister's wedding, even Kylie and Marcus also got to see a little bit that, okay, I'm different. Yeah. And it started from there, and then when we went to birthday parties and everything, and they just kept saying, holy cow, this is not the same run-of-the-mill trash.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
I had a great dating history. That will be another podcast, though. So let's continue on. So you love your in-laws.
Yes.
Great news. We also have, just want to do a shout out.
Okay.
Just a little one, because we don't have stories and we don't know her very well at all.
Yeah.
But talking about in-laws, we should do a shout out. Your brother recently got married.
Yes.
In March? February. Oh, February. Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day to Caitlin. Because your brother, like we just said, recently got married. Valentine's Day of this year. And it was a long road. Long road. But he made it to the altar. And for that, we can say congratulations.
Yep.
And that we look forward to redemption, and getting to know her, because I want nothing more than to sit here with you on a podcast sharing stories we have with both Ian and Caitlin.
Yes,
so
very much so.
Before we wrap up the in-laws, shout out to Ian and Caitlin. Congratulations.
Yes,
we love you both.
Yes, we do.
And we look forward to a beautiful future with all of our many siblings.
Yes.
All of our many in-laws.
Yes.
And all of the nephews and nieces and cousins and play dates that the Lord will bring.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, now that segment is closed for the moment, but knowing our families, we'll be talking about our siblings again.
Yes.
In many episodes to come. Well, let's talk a little bit briefly about our parents. We won't be here without them.
Most definitely.
That is also, like, quite literally, we would not be here.
Yeah.
If they didn't hook up.
Very much so.
So let's talk about briefly, and we can get into this again on another episode, but the other opposite we had is you only had two sets of parents. Or one set of parents. Like one mom, one dad.
Yeah.
You
at least
got
throughout my childhood.
Throughout your whole childhood. Later down the road, you did get a stepmom.
Yes.
But your childhood, you didn't have to go to house. It was very consistent. You had a very consistent household. So what was that like? Because I want to know how that was for you, because I surely didn't have consistency in households. I had two different ones. So go ahead.
Well, at least with household, it was very consistent.
Do you know what briefly means?
I didn't say briefly.
No, I'm saying, do you know what briefly means?
Yes, I know what briefly means.
So what does it mean?
It means for a short time.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure we're on the same page.
What was that?
Well,
why do I need to know that?
Because I'm gently reminding you we've already been talking for 20-something minutes, so I don't think we need another 20 minutes of you telling us what life was like with two parents.
Oh my gosh, you're mean. You're the one that's been talking the most this session.
Well, they like hearing my voice.
Hey, you're just rude as all get out. Okay. They love my voice.
You just wasted 2 minutes.
Okay, well, whatever. I will waste more time. Continued on.
Genuinely do, but go ahead.
You're just being mean now.
If I say I'm sorry, will you move it along?
No, I'm going to waste more time, thank you. I'm just kidding.
Get your popcorn.
Oh my gosh.
Dylan has a microphone.
About to throw the popcorn at you.
We don't have any.
Empty Gatorade bottle. So, all right. So, starting with me.
Of course.
I had one household.
We know this. So, like, you're adding a bunch of extra words.
I'm going to add a bunch of extra words.
You always do.
Because I love to explain things down to the minute detail. And can you not unplug the mic, please?
Well, if I do, that would save our listeners
Oh my
a
gosh.
headache.
Stop it. I'm just knocking the mic over now because you keep messing with it. All right. So,
Not my fault.
oh my gosh. Okay, so continue.
Go ahead.
Jeez. I lived in one household
Words, Dylan.
with one mom and one dad.
Mm-hmm.
It was the consistency of knowing where I was going to be every night was very reassuring.
You took that for granted.
I think at times it definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
But at times it was also very difficult because for a good portion of my childhood, my mom was also sick.
Yeah.
But I'm at least very thankful for the fact that I had a household that I always knew I was going to go back to every day. And technically I never had my own bedroom, but I shared a room with my brother for years. So it was nice. It was nice always knowing where my kitchen was. Gaming rooms switched several times, but I still knew where everything was. I knew where my friends could come hang out, where I could go. I knew just about everything in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's probably easy for you to make friends too, being in one place.
It should have been.
Nobody liked you.
That's rude. No, I was introverted a lot when I was young.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you can't tell now because I got out of my shell. But back then
Can
I
you
was.
go back in?
No, you can go kick rocks for that.
That is not what you say to your wife.
Well, there's rocks outside.
This is why this is not a marriage podcast.
Oh my gosh. This is a married couple teasing each other and telling about our past.
We had 6 minutes. You already used 4.
Well, guess what? You can have the last 2 since you talked for most of it.
It's about to only be 1 now.
Well, here you go. Start talking.
Are you finished? Praise the Lord. Miracles do happen on Easter.
Oh, wait. I got something else.
Of course you do.
No, I don't. I just did that to annoy you.
Anyways. Yeah, no, I bet you did take for granted the consistency, the one household, the one the one bathroom, one bedroom. It wasn't that much for me. When my parents were together, we traveled a lot. My favorite house traveling was one in New Jersey. I got to be in the attic. But the attic was a bedroom. So there was like 2 little bedrooms in the attic, and Noah had one bedroom, I had the other. It was pretty dope.
That's still cool, though.
It was really cool. But that only lasted a short time, and then we traveled here or there. I was a lot of the time the new kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard for me to make friends and keep friends. Not because I was an introvert, because I'm not, but because
Clearly.
but because I moved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we settled back to Texas, and my parents got divorced, and there was 2 households to go in between. And that was really difficult, just going back and forth. That's why I do sympathize to my kids and how they feel going back and forth. But one thing I did get out of it was 2 other parents who just loved us, and they didn't need to. And they did a very good job at loving us. And my stepmom always kind of made known that she's bonus mom, but mom is mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she just was kind of okay with supporting my dad, and she was a huge moment was when she was like, Dwight, we need to live in Texas. You need to go to those choir recitals. You need to do things. You need to. And my dad did a lot. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm saying he was the first Beamer to have ever been divorced. So he didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
He didn't know what was right, what was wrong. And he went to other states to work, but, and my dad loved us and everything, but my stepmom was like, we're moving back to Texas.
Yeah.
This is when you gotta be with the kids. And my dad did. And my dad showed up and stuff like that. And then my stepdad, we lived primarily with my mom. And so my stepdad was a big person in helping raise us, and they owned a karate studio, so we were there all the time and back and forth and stuff. But something, again, it's just crazy being 30 now, looking back on things that you don't take
For granted.
I did take for granted.
Oh.
Was having 4 parents that genuinely just loved us. And I mean, I see it with you and the boys. You don't have any biological kids yet. But there's just something so special about step-parents.
Yeah.
And I just want to talk about step-parents for a minute because I'm not a step-parent. I came with the kids. I will never be a step-parent because when we have kids, they will also be my kids.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I took for granted how much my step-parents loved us.
Yeah.
And how much they truly were involved. My stepdad, every game, every recital was there. He didn't need to do that. We weren't his kids. But he married my mom, and so to him, we were his kids. My stepmom, she didn't need to move her whole entire world and life down to Texas. She didn't have anything in Texas or anybody in Texas but us kids and my dad. But because she loved us and married my dad, we were her kids. And so, and then I see it with you and the boys, being the stepdad. How many sacrifices you take every single day, even with the boys with us or not. You take a lot of sacrifices for them. You don't know how to be a dad. You don't have biological kids yourself. But when you married me, you stood there on the altar and you said, those are my kids now. Hell or high water, Kainoa, Andrew, and Jason are mine. And that speaks a lot of volumes about step-parents, because I think step-parents kind of get shown to the side, to the side, because you're not the biological parent. Sit down, know your place.
Yeah.
That's what step-parents have to go through. I've seen it with my stepmom. I've seen it with my stepdad. And now that I'm in this position, I see it with you. You have always honored the boy's dad. Every moment you have honored the boy's dad. Like, Zach's here, I'm here, but I'm going to be here forever. And so, as much as sometimes I wish I was like you, with the one mom and one dad, I kind of do like this difference of us, because I'm so thankful for all 4 of my parents. I'm thankful that I've always been a daddy's girl, even when I didn't know it. My dad and I are best friends, and I love him so much, and he has always been there to support me and guide me, even when I didn't see it. And my mom has always been a great mommy. She did birthday counters. We did birthday weekends. She's the mom that made sure our lunch was like, people would be jealous of our lunches. And she would always fight for me whenever I was going through school and I had like dyslexia. She was always the parent that's in those meetings fighting for me. She fights for all her kids. And now it has been such the greatest joy seeing all 4 of them as grandparents.
Yeah.
I mean, even your dad and Lori get to be grandparents to Idris and the 3 boys. And so it's been really fun. As jealous as I am, because we didn't have McDonald's money back then, but Gemma always seems to have some money in her pocket for the boys. No matter what. We never got to play the claw machine games. No, we were lucky to go out to eat. But Gemma always has a few quarters.
Always does.
And then when my dad and Susanna, they call him Bumpa and Nana, they come down to Texas. They rent a B&B with a pool. I didn't get a pool. I did not get a pool when I was a kid.
I got a pool when I was a kid.
Okay, lucky you. Another difference. But I did not get a pool, and I lived in Texas. But when grandkids come over, they get a swimming pool. And then Papa Sheehan over here making sure they all have their baskets and everything else. And we didn't get the extra toys. I've seen Papa slide in an extra toy in the cart when they were little. We didn't get a toy. They get, it's only one more. Only one more toy. When do grandparents become fun? Like, where did these grandparents come from? Because they weren't the people that raised me.
Well, there's an old saying. If you raise your kids, you get to spoil your grandkids. And it looks like that's exactly what they be doing.
And then there's your dad. There's your dad, Papa G. Have a bone to pick with him several times because just the other day, it was last Friday, Andrew wanted to ride on the thing.
Little cart.
Little cart, go zoom zoom in the church lobby.
Because no one was there.
Yeah, so Andrew's like, Papa G said I could. And I said, no, that's dangerous. He goes, well, Papa G said I could. And I said, well, I said no. Well, you're not as fun as Papa G. When does Papa G get to be fun? And then I go and I say, I have a bone to pick with you. And I tell him, and he goes, he doesn't even let me finish. He goes, I'm Grandpa. I'm Grandpa. I'm Grandpa. I gotta do it. No, it's only right here. It's right here. And then Andrew tried to convince him to take him on the roof, and then Papa G had some cells in his brain. And
he was like, I never said the roof. I said up top, not the roof.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls something like that on me. And then he goes,
at least when he's older.
I'm Grandpa. I can do what I want. When do these grandparents think that they can do whatever they want? It's like as soon as your kids have kids, you get to do whatever you want, feed them whatever you want. McDonald's money comes out of thin air. They get to ride a cart throughout church. Anyway, we will talk about more of this on another podcast.
Oh, yeah.
On a funny note, talk about Easter. I had a major fail this weekend.
Yes, you did. What was it?
Well, I told the boys that we were going to go take them to Super Mario Brothers.
And it just came out this weekend as well.
So Dillon was like...
And I was ecstatic for it, too.
I know. And Dillon's like, we should get the tickets. It was Friday. Because I wanted to go on Saturday. You're like, okay, we should get the tickets. I go, we don't need to buy the tickets now. We'll buy it tomorrow.
I pestered you, like 4 or 5 different times, too.
On Friday.
I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen.
And you're like, we need to buy the tickets. And I was like, no, we don't. We're fine. We'll buy them tomorrow. Because I also just wanted to make sure, like, I knew who was coming, which movie theater. So I genuinely thought...
Yeah.
We could buy the tickets right before we go.
Because
typically you can.
Yeah, it's a fair thought.
And so...
I knew it was going to happen, but it was a fair thought.
So then yesterday came around, and it was about an hour before the movie, because you had found a 6...
It was 2 hours.
It was 2 hours before, because you had found a 6 o'clock movie. I was like, okay, buy the tickets. And you look, and you're like, none available for 6.
Just
okay,
like
what about the next one? None available for 6:45. What about the next one? None available for 7:15. Only one available was like 8:30 or something. Yeah. And that was going to be way too late because we had church in the morning. And so I want to leave you guys with this. If it's a brand new movie, if it's on a holiday,
opening weekend,
go ahead and buy the tickets. Your husband might be right on that.
Oh, look at that, everybody. Episode 2, and I've been right twice. We're on a roll.
So, buy the tickets. But thank you so much for listening to Catch What I'm Saying.
We very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Episode 2. And drop comments down below with questions.
What we should talk about.
Nice comments would be nice. Also, if you have anything you want us to talk about, if you want us to dig deeper in anything we've already talked about or ideas for episode 3.
Or even funny questions you want us to answer between
I'll be the funny one.
I will be funny as well. Rude.
You'll try, and then it will go flat. So.
I'll be funnier than you.
What world do you live in?
The real one, unlike you. The one where you don't think ducks are birds.
Okay. Thank you so much. We will see you next episode.
Yep. Have a good day. Bye.